How many of you guys grew up eating macaroni? I know I did. When my mom made macaroni, I was so excited. I thought macaroni was the best, and it truly was a treat for me growing up. Um, but when you think about macaroni, it is a little bit strange. We eat this ground up wheat that we boil, and then we pour this space cheese in it, some butter and some milk, and sometimes my mom would put hot dogs in there, and I don't think anyone really knows what hot dogs are, but I thought it was the bomb. I loved macaroni when I was a kid. But imagine taking someone's Italian grandma and asking her to try macaroni. I'm not sure if she would like it a whole lot. Good afternoon, my name's Sarah, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about picky eating. Preferences and ideas about food are often cultural, and one can get used to just about anything if they open their mind and ideas to different foods and are dedicated to always trying new things. So one thing to understand is that food is very cultural, and our ideas of what's okay and what's not okay to eat often it often comes down to the way we were raised. In my anthropology class, I learned that we only eat the fillet of fish, and we'll only eat the chicken breast of a chicken, but we don't think to eat the eyes or the brain or the heart or any of the organs. To us in America, that's really strange. And when my dad grew up in China, and so he, as a kid, would eat the eyes and the brains, and him and his sister would actually fight over these parts. They thought these parts of the animal were the best parts, which they kind of are. They have a lot more nutrients than the breast or any other part of the animal. And so he was always like stoked to get the brain or the eye. And I realized that came down to culture. I think that's gross because I didn't grow up eating it, but in other cultures, like that's completely normal. And here's a short story. When I was in junior high, I took my friends to San Diego. I went with my family, and we took them to boba because that kind of was like our family tradition, and we wanted to take my friends to experience that. And so we went to San Diego. I was stoked to let them try boba because it was such a good thing in our family. And so my friends try it, and well, first they don't try it. They look at it and they go, like, are those fish eyes? Like, the little tapioca balls? And I go, no, like, I don't know what they are, but they're good. And they try it, and they're like, it's okay. And I think they were just trying to be polite, but they they weren't being very polite. They really didn't like it. They thought it was so strange. Like, and then they would talk about it afterwards, like, hey, Sarah, remember when you had us try boba and like that fish eye drink? And I was like, yeah, I remember that. It was embarrassing. But then once high school came around, boba started getting more popular. In America, it started trending, and a bunch of boba shops opened, and it became kind of like coffee shops. It became cool in America to drink boba. And so I think a lot of what we deem as normal comes from our culture and what's trending and what we're used to. So just understanding that a lot of foods we eat are based on our cultural upbringing. And once we recognize that, we can kind of reshape our ideas about food once we realize that it's only cultural preference. So first, to become used to eating different types of food, we need to be open-minded. We need to understand that, to some other culture, this isn't weird. This isn't weird to eat. And once we are kind of open to the idea of like, hey, in another culture, another country, this isn't weird, we can expose ourselves to that food more. So we can try it, and maybe you can try something once and realize like, hey, like this is pretty good. My friend Alexis, she told me that she hated peppers. She she thought they were so gross, and I was like, dude, when's the last time you ate a pepper? She's like, when I was like 5. I was like, you should try it again. Like, I love peppers. And she would judge me every time I ate them. And so finally one night we were having a sleepover. I was like, dude, you need to try pepper. And she's like, okay, dude, I'm gonna do it. And so she went and she ate it, she's like, oh, this is really good, and she like ate it, and like now she loves peppers. She like eats them all the time. And so sometimes you just need to expose yourself to something once and just get used, like, just allow yourself to try it. But according to ESI, an article written in 2007, it takes some people 15 to 30 times to get used to something. And so sometimes we just don't like something, and it's just not something your palate is used to. But if you try something over and over, your mind kind of gets used to it. It's like coffee. It's kind of an acquired taste. An example of this was when I was a kid, my mom loved olives. And so I would go over to my great-grandma's house, and she would have, like, old people food, like crackers and, like, cheese and deviled eggs and olives. She, like, would have, like, 4 different types of olives. And my mom was like, oh, these are so good. And I'd be like, Mom, like, what? I'd, like, eat one and be like, ooh, like, they were so gross. Like, they made me gag. But because my mom thought they were so cool, I was like, you know, I'm going to get used to olives. Like, I'm going to start loving olives. Like, I wanted to love olives. So every time I'd go over to my grandma's house or had an opportunity to eat olives, I would eat one and be like, it's good, but I, like, hated it. But after, like, a few years, I don't know if it had to do with age, or maybe I really did just get used to it. After a few years, I tried olives 30 times. But after a few years, I was able to eat them and not gag or anything. And so it definitely took time for me to get used to them, but now I accept them, and it's cool. Yeah, and another way to kind of just get out there and experience new food is by going out with friends. And so you can go kind of make your food experience fun. Like, don't see it as a way of like when your parents would force you to eat something, and they'd be like, hey, you can't leave the table until you eat all your food, and you're like, Ma, this is nasty, like, I don't like Brussels sprouts. Just make your food experience fun. Go to San Diego, go to a bar, go to a different, maybe, food taste, like a taco stand or something you think is cool, something you want to try, and just try it with friends. Make it a fun thing where everyone can get something new, and you guys can all try a little bit. Maybe you guys will hate it, but it'll be a fun experience anyways. So if you go to San Diego this weekend, maybe try new food. Yes, so that is my presentation. I'll leave you with this. Don't be limited to the food you eat, but let food expand your experience of the world. Don't be limited. Don't tell yourself, like, oh, I hate this kind of food. Yeah, let it guide your experience. Thank you for listening.